What is up, Nerf Nation? I'm Naptown Nerf, and this is an unboxing and review of the Nerf Modulus Demolisher Ultimate Customizer Pack. And this is quite the packaging. This box is massive, and I was able to get all of this for $20. So stay tuned and find out how you could get yours for only 20 bucks. Alright, you guys, so I originally was not going to review this because I obviously picked this one up quite late, as it's now on clearance at Walmart for $20. Well, at least at my Walmart it was. And I will let you know soon how you can find this and get your own, possibly for $20, if you still have some in stock, and your Walmart is of course selling them on clearance for 20 bucks. But I figured since I was going to crack this thing open, I might as well review it for you guys. So let's see what we got inside. I'm going to do it right here because this thing is way too large to do a top view of, at least with my setup. So we'll go ahead and see if we can get it open right here. Alright, you guys, so we have our Demolisher with a 10-round banana mag. We also have a second 10-round banana mag. We have a holder for 3 Demolisher missiles, which is awesome. We have a really cool stock that I cannot wait to talk about. We have a flip-up sight, which is pretty cool, similar to the sight that originally came on the Long Strike, so that's sweet. We have a really cool new barrel that has attachments all over the place. We have a holder to hold your extra magazine. We have a Modulus flashlight, which we have seen before. We have another attachment that also will allow you to attach more things, so that's sweet. We have 4 Demolisher missiles, and we have 40 Modulus Elite darts. Wow, that's a lot of stuff, guys. Oh, and it does come with some directions. Alright, you guys, so let's talk about the Demolisher real quick, and then we will get on to the attachments. So obviously this is a repaint of the Elite Demolisher that was a pretty much all orange blaster, so I do like this color scheme. I think it's pretty cool. I'm a little so-so on the lime green, but you know, it is an interesting look. The white I really like a lot, and if you opened one of these, there's 2 shells. The white and the lime green are 2 different shells, so you could kind of mix and match with the orange, and that could look kind of cool. So maybe we could do that down the road. We will see, but nevertheless, this is a flywheel-powered blaster. We did throw in our 4 AA's on the side back here. So we'd rev here, and that will rev up our flywheels, and then we will pull this, and it is a semi-auto blaster, so each trigger pull will fire 1 dart, just like a Strife. So this is actually one of my favorite blasters Nerf has ever made. I really like the fact that it has 2 firing options, both the, obviously, Elite Dart firing option, and then you do have your rocket launcher or missile launcher on the bottom, which is really cool. So we could load up a missile down here, and then we can fire it just like that. And that thing does get pretty decent range, even though it is a HAMP system. So basically how hard you pull is going to determine how far it goes. So that's pretty interesting. The blaster does have a few tactical rails, which is pretty cool. One on the side and one on the top. Pretty awesome there. It has a sling point on the bottom here, and then also you could sling from around the muzzle. And I always really like this part of the Demolisher. Just the look of this blaster is really cool. Even if you decide to minimize it and take the HAMP off, it always has a really cool look that way too. So one of my favorite blasters, obviously magazine release is right there. You can just tap it with your finger. Very ergonomic. Very nice. Jam door up top. I've always liked this sliding jam door. Pretty cool. And yeah, let's go ahead and talk about some of those attachments. So we have probably my favorite attachment out of this group, or the one that I'm most excited about, is this stock, and I'm going to show you why. So go ahead and throw it on our in-strike attachment point back there. And this stock is pretty darn sturdy that way. It is a little short though, so we can fix that. We can just pull it back there, and now it's a little bit longer. That's a little bit better, not too bad. But you know, you want it a little longer than that, you can push this button right here, and then it has 1 point, 2 points, 3 points. So now that is a very long stock, and I think would be pretty nice for pretty much anyone. It does have a tad bit of wobble, but you know, that's going to be expected from a Nerf attachment that has this many, you know, points of movement, and I honestly think most of it's from this first one. So if you wanted to just close that one back up and just extend it from, now it doesn't lock in that front position, so if you just pull it, it will come back. So, but you can leave it there, and then that's actually a pretty decent length in my opinion, and a lot more sturdy that way. And then you have a cheek rest, which is really nice. I actually like it a lot in this position, but if you want it a little higher, boom, it's higher. And then that is your cheek rest. So that's pretty sweet. This does have some rubber on top of it and on the back here, so it's going to grip really well. I've never seen Nerf do that before, really, that I can think of. Put like rubber that's on like a stock attachment point anyways. So that's really, really neat. And I think that's a pretty good idea because there are a lot of stocks that like to slip off your shoulder, so that will give you nice grip, especially if you're wearing a shirt that's a little slippery, like maybe like a dry wicking shirt. You know, those can be a little slicker or something. So yeah, I think this is a really cool stock, and I think Nerf did a great job with this one. So we have our sight, and we're going to go ahead and throw that on top here and take a look at that guy. Pretty simple sight, very similar, not exactly the same as the sight that originally came on the long strike, and actually I think this will look really good on the Modulus long strike. Fit a little bit better than actually the sight they put on it, as that one has a tendency to kind of rub against the little built-in iron sights. But yeah, this is pretty cool. Kind of a grenade style sight, which is fitting considering we do have a rocket launcher on the bottom there. So that's pretty cool. So you can kind of build in your arc, as it has lines here, so you can kind of decide how high you want to arc your shot, or you can throw this down, and then you also have more of a typical iron sight kind of look. So it's pretty cool sight. I really like this one a lot. Also, you can fold that front part down, and then it's completely locked in there, and there's actually a little 2 iron sights there. Alright, moving on to the barrel attachment, which I actually think looks really, really cool. I like that thing a lot. That is pretty sweet, and then they've gone ahead and put 3 tactical rails on the side of the barrel attachment, and that's just cool. I didn't even think of something like that, but that's pretty darn neat. And I guess you could move this down here if you wanted to, although I don't think that would be the best position for it, but I guess it's an option. But overall look is really, really cool. Inner diameter though is not very big, so that will hurt performance quite a bit, but nevertheless it does look pretty awesome. So we have our Demolisher missile holder here, and we can go ahead and throw that on. So that's pretty cool, so it can turn any direction you want. So we'll go ahead and do it that way. So there we go, and that definitely looks pretty intimidating, just having it on the blaster. That's pretty darn sweet, and then you could flip that any direction you so choose. So that's pretty darn sweet, I think. So we have a extra mag holder, which is a pretty interesting design, as it's just basically a magazine well with your magazine release here. And we can go ahead, we'll throw this on the back here, why not? So there we go, that locks in. Grab our banana mag, and we can throw that right in there. Now, I don't feel like this is going to be the most comfortable thing ever, but it does work. Yeah, it gets in the way a little bit, and anything longer than a 10-round banana mag I think will definitely be in the way. But, you know, that's kind of interesting. We could definitely move it to a different position. If we wanted to move our missiles up there and be even more intimidating, we can do that. And then we can move this here. And that is better in terms of ergonomics, but it's a little far away. I mean, I can reach that, but I think someone with a shorter reach might have trouble. So I'm not sure the best place for that. That's a little interesting, but the magazine is definitely locked in there, just like it would be in your magazine well. And then you just push that orange button, and that will release your mag. So pretty darn cool. Alright, we have our extra rail attachment that is pretty darn sweet, so we could go ahead and throw that on top, and then these kind of bend and into pretty much any angle you so choose, and they're pretty rigid, so that's pretty neat. You could put them all the way flat there, or you can put them more of an angle. I think the angle is actually pretty sweet, and you just push them. There's no button or anything. You just kind of move them around. They're a little bit hard to move around, but they do move, and then they actually lock into place pretty darn well, I think. So we can go ahead and put our iron sight up there, and then maybe that's pretty good, and then we could move our cheek rest up and line that up pretty nicely. That's pretty cool. And then we have a place to put our flashlight. We could put our flashlight even on the front here. That might be actually the best place for our flashlight, up front there. You do have to put batteries in your flashlight to get it to work. And I have a review, I do believe, on this flashlight. I'm not sure. It's been a while ago. But the flashlight is not the best, but for HVZ, it actually might be really good. I like the look of this flashlight a lot, but it's not the brightest, but Nerf just doesn't put out super bright flashlights for safety purposes and whatnot. And for HVZ games, they don't like you to have really bright lights, so this could be an awesome option for something like that. So you're not going to blind your opponent or a zombie playing, so that's pretty cool. So we could move this up here like this if we wanted to. There we go. That looks pretty sweet. We could move it down if we wanted to, so it's flat. And moving it while it's on the blaster kind of wants it to pop off the in-strike rail. But, you know, all things considered, I feel like everything locks on pretty darn well. I mean, it is an in-strike attachment point. It's not Picatinny. It's not secured as well as something like that. But considering it's an in-strike attachment, I think everything is pretty locked on pretty darn well. Alright, you guys, let's go ahead and fire off a few shots. I'm going to do a few this way and then a few the other way. Since all the cool stuff is on this side, we'll go ahead and fire it off this direction first. Pretty sweet. Drop the mag. Grab that one. Throw her in. Let's go this way now. Pretty awesome. I do have to remember that I have to wait for the flywheels to rev up before firing because I'm used to LiPo-powered modified flywheelers and you can go much, much quicker with those. These you do have to wait for those flywheels to rev up, obviously, but let's go ahead and put this thing over the chronograph and see what kind of performance it's getting. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and put some shots over the chronograph. I got 10 Modulus Elite darts loaded up here and then some AccuStrike darts loaded up back here. So we will try both of those and then we will probably try one of the missiles across the chronograph, although your performance will vary there depending on how hard you pull on it. So here we go. 52, 63, 70, 73, 70, 74, 71, 72, 70, 71, AccuStrike darts, 51, 77, 75, duplicate 75, 71, 75, 76, 72, duplicate 72, 72, and we're out, and we'll try the Demolisher missile. Error. We'll try one more. 66. I say that's pretty darn good. Alright, you guys, so as you can see, we're getting pretty standard elite performance out of the Demolisher. I did notice a little bit more noise from this flywheel blaster than I have from other flywheel blasters recently, and I'm guessing that's just because they haven't really done any upgrades to the Demolisher. This is an older flywheel blaster that made more noise. I don't remember how much noise it made when I got mine, man, 4 or 5 years ago, whenever it came out. But yeah, it's a little noisier than most flywheel blasters that are coming out today. But nevertheless, performance is pretty on par with elite performance, right there around 70 FPS. One thing that I remember with my old Demolisher is I was able to put IMRs in this without tripping the thermistor. So this is about the easiest blaster you can gain performance from without even having to open the blaster up at all. And so that's pretty cool. I don't know if it's still that way. I would probably guess it's not, and Nerf has corrected that, but it's a possibility. Unfortunately, I cannot test this because I no longer carry IMRs. I've switched completely to LiPo, and obviously that's the way to go if you can do it. The one thing that I really don't like about the Demolisher in stock form is this. That thing just slides all over the place and can be very annoying, but a simple modification, adding some electrical tape or some Teflon tape under that O-ring, you just have to open it up. Very, very easy mod. Will correct that issue and gain you a little performance out of that Demolisher missile. So that's pretty darn sweet. I really like this stock a lot. It's probably my favorite attachment, but it's a little strange that they put a sling point right here. I don't think that that makes a whole lot of sense, especially how that moves around and wobbles. I wouldn't recommend using that, but it looks kind of cool. This attachment would work better, I think, if I was able to attach it to the other side of the blaster, although then it would be facing the wrong way. I didn't really care for this being in this position because my hand kind of hit it, but that honestly wasn't the biggest issue. It's because I like to grab my mags with my left hand and not with my right. So because it's on this side of the blaster, I have to take my hand off the grip, pull this out, reload, and then refine the grip instead of having my right hand on the grip the entire time and just using my left hand. So I'm not a big fan of this one, but it's cool. It does lock in the magazine really well, and so that's good. I think this does an incredible job of holding Demolisher missiles. I think it looks awesome, and I think this is a pretty cool attachment too. It is got the perfect fit. It's not hard to pull them off, but they don't seem to want to fall off, so that's really cool. This rail riser triple rail thing is pretty neat. I think it's a neat design. I think the attachments work well, you know, for what it is. I do think you're going to get a little bit of wobble just because of how it's made, but it's not too bad. It's actually better than I thought it would be. The barrel attachment is really cool. Unfortunately, that inner diameter is so bad and hurts performance so much, it's almost unusable in gameplay, but for a modification just for looks, I think it would be cool to add on to another blaster, or obviously it looks cool on this one. So if you're into looks, it's awesome. If you're into performance, take it off. Tactical light, pretty cool. It's a pretty basic, simple light. I think it looks awesome, and it puts out a little bit of light, which could be a good or bad thing depending on what you're using it for. So it does take 3 AAA batteries, so keep that in mind. And obviously I do think this sight is pretty cool. I like how it can flip up and down in both directions and has several different ways of viewing different types of sights. So I think that's pretty cool and fits this blaster actually really well. So I know you guys are wanting to know, how can I get this for $20? You need to look up the SKU at brickseek.com, and I'll put all this information in the description box so you can go and look at it really easily. But you just need to see if your Walmart has these on clearance and how much they have it on clearance for, because there are some that still have it up at $60-something, some are at $40, and then there are some at $20. And then obviously there'll probably be some Walmarts that are sold out of this already. So definitely look at it as soon as possible if you're interested in this blaster. And I don't know who wouldn't want all this for $20, because that's a steal in my opinion. I think even $40 is a pretty darn good deal for this. But the original $90, definitely pass, because that's just a lot of money for a blaster that I already own, and then a lot of attachments that are pretty cool but not worth obviously that much money. So definitely think about subscribing if you're not subscribed. Don't forget to smash that like button, and as always guys, peace out.